You slowly open your eyes as a freezing, piercing wind cuts into the dark cockpit from a cracked old window. The air reeks of cheap aviation kerosene, dampness, and dusty canvas covering the cargo behind you. Your white knuckles, your hands are death-gripping the worn yoke, forearm muscles cramping from constant, brutal night turbulence. You are flying completely blind through pitch-black void somewhere over the Nevada desert. You are a trainee pilot for a night-shift cargo airline sitting at the absolute bottom of the aviation food chain. Finding paradise on this layer is tough, but it exists in raw, primal honesty. No fake flight attendants with porcelain smiles, no demanding passengers in business class. Only you, the terrifying roar of a dying right engine, and hundreds of boxes of cheap goods behind your back. You grind through these hellish night hours for pennies, dreaming of a commercial pilot license and escaping this flying rusted coffin. Every machine you successfully land under these conditions turns you into a true wolf of aviation. But the hell of this job is burning you out from the inside. 3 hours of sleep, cheap motels by the runway, cold coffee, stale sandwiches. The company exploits you like a draft horse because they know you desperately need the flight hours. Technical maintenance on these planes exists only on paper with forged stamps. Every single takeoff is a game of Russian roulette with your own life. You are trading your health and youth for the phantom dream of a crisp, white captain shirt, the oil pressure gauge. It violently erupts into a flashing red warning light at 2 in the morning. Engine thrust is plummeting as you fly directly into the belly of an approaching thunderstorm. Company protocols demand you deliver this cargo before sunrise at any cost. Turning back wastes their expensive fuel for nothing. You can ignore the red light, clench your jaw, and punch straight into the storm, risking complete engine failure in the absolute dark. Or you can turn the plane around and head back to the airfield, where the company will instantly bill you for massive penalties, fire you in disgrace, and permanently block your path into major aviation. Your career dies tonight. Your first crossroad. Write in the comments, fly into the storm, or turn back to base. 2012 year, 2:30 p.m., 30,000 feet, passenger airliner cockpit. A low, raspy baritone cuts through the deafening roar of the jet engines. The empty co-pilot seat. A tall detective in a beige trench coat rises from it, pulling the coat tighter against the cold cockpit draft. A snail in a tiny fedora. It sits on his shoulder, gripping the wet fabric, slowly crawling across the cracked glass of the altimeter. Panic makes a terrible navigator. Kid, Jimmy says, with a gravelly voice. On this level, your main curse is called the sunk cost fallacy. You sacrificed years of hellish labor, your youth and your sleep to this rusty piece of junk. Your psyche refuses to surrender one step before the finish line, even if that step leads off a cliff. The system places you in a trap where your life is worth less than the insurance payout on their cargo. As long as you grip that yoke out of desperation, they own you completely. Open your hands. It is time to ride the elevator to the next floor. The atmosphere shifts radically. Sterile, ozonated air, freshly ironed cotton, an ergonomic leather seat under your back. You sit in the softly illuminated cockpit of a state-of-the-art passenger airliner. You are a first officer for a massive budget airline, and you finally broke through to civil society. 3 gold stripes. You walk through the airport terminal in a tailored uniform, and the crowd unconsciously parts for you. to 100 people in the cabin behind you. You are the guarantor of their safety, a top-tier professional. No longer a sky grunt, you are the intelligentsia of the clouds, with stable income, a good apartment, and a reliable car. But hiding under that pristine white collar is an industrial assembly line of exhaustion. 5 short flights per shift, permanently broken sleep, fuel tanks always loaded to the razor minimum. Your captain is an aging veteran with a bloated ego who despises young hotshots and considers his decisions absolute law. Air traffic control warns of rapidly deteriorating mountain weather and massive headwind during descent. The captain does a quick mental fuel recalculation and arrogantly declares, "You have plenty to reach the runway." The navigation computer screen. You look down at the glowing numbers and sheer horror hits your stomach. He is wrong. It is a rookie mathematical error. If the wind picks up by 2 knots, the engines flame out directly over dense residential districts. You will not make it. You are bound by protocol to seize the controls and announce the error over the radio, but publicly humiliating this powerful veteran means his union connections will destroy you, ground you permanently, and brand you as insubordinate. Your dream of becoming a captain collapses forever. Or you stay silent, trusting a false authority, and in 20 minutes, 150 people pay with their lives. The second crossroad, write in the comments, seize the yoke, or stay silent. 2018 year, 8 a.m., flight over the Atlantic, Boeing cockpit. Jimmy sits completely unfazed right on top of the glowing autopilot console, the blinking low fuel indicators. His loyal snail detective is curiously inspecting them, tapping the glass with its tiny shell. Authority bias, the detective states indifferently, staring at the gray-haired captain. The herd instinct dominates human behavior, even at 30,000 feet. We are brainwashed from childhood to never talk back to superiors. In this cockpit, you physically feel how your fear of breaking the chain of command outweighs your instinct for survival. Corporate solidarity forces people to cover up horrific mistakes just to avoid becoming outcasts in their own pack. You fear losing your spot in the hierarchy more than falling into the ocean. Now let us take a hard look at who sits in that left seat. Click. The engine roar drops to a whisper. Expensive perfume from first-class artisan coffee in a porcelain cup from the senior flight attendant. 4 gold stripes on your shoulders catch the blinding morning sun. You are a senior captain of an international airline, the undisputed elite of the sky. The paradise of this position is blinding and absolute. You lock the reinforced cockpit door and become the singular god and law for 300 people at altitude. Your authority is unquestionable. Your salary is terrifying. Your layovers are in 5-star hotels across the globe. To any person on the street, your life looks like a glossy magazine ad for perfect success. The golden handcuffs. Up here at the zenith, your independence is a complete hallucination. Every breath and micro-adjustment is recorded by black boxes. Your efficiency analyzed every second by internal algorithms. Your colossal salary depends on quarterly fuel bonuses, and your lifestyle demands massive payments on elite real estate. You are a hostage to the financial algorithms built by expense managers on the ground. A vicious storm cell rapidly forms dead ahead over the Atlantic. The risk management software on your tablet aggressively insists you fly straight through the core. Detouring costs 40 extra minutes and burns $15,000 of premium jet fuel. The chief manager made it crystal clear yesterday, Captains exceeding fuel allowance lose their bonuses and get demoted to cheap regional routes. If you fly into the storm, the plane holds together, but violent turbulence severely injures unsecured passengers. People panic, pray, and suffer broken bones, but you hand the company the numbers they demand. Or you disconnect the autopilot and make a massive, expensive detour for safety. Tomorrow, you face a disciplinary tribunal. They strip your yearly bonus, and your family loses their luxurious life. The third fatal crossroad. Write in the comments fly into the storm or detour for safety. 2022 year, 11:45 p.m. Private airfield, luxury, jet cabin. The man in the beige trench coat stands in the cockpit doorway, leaning against the reinforced armor of the door. His voice echoes painfully clear over the low hum of avionics cooling fans. The snail slides off his shoulder onto your tailored uniform hat. Moral decoupling, Jimmy says softly. The most convenient trick ever invented for white-collar workers. They brainwashed you into believing you are not making the ruthless call. You are just following the tablet's orders. All moral guilt is outsourced to a faceless financial algorithm. The system rents your personal conscience by the hour, paying you off with high credit limits. Day by day, they train you to trade empathy for premium interest rates. But even this cage looks like heaven compared to the real bosses. The bowing seat vanishes. You sink into impossibly soft leather of an ultra-luxury private Gulfstream, polished mahogany and cold indifference. You are the personal pilot for a shadow billionaire. No radars, no schedules, no unions. The elite pay you more in 1 year than 10 average captains earn in a lifetime. Luxury cars on the tarmac, personal fixers in every capital, all debts erased. The contract's fine print. Your unofficial job description is absolute, permanent blindness. Your employer orchestrates global financial frauds, collapses markets, and runs dark gray schemes. You fly ghost routes with transponders off, turning your jet into a blind spot for global air traffic control. Heavy sealed cases of untraceable gold bars, terabytes of classified blackmail. Passengers who do not exist in any database. You are the highly paid chauffeur for pure, unchecked greed. Tonight, your boss storms into the cabin in absolute panic, the sealed warrant. An international court just froze every single one of his global assets effective at sunrise. Documents and keys to offshore billions sit in the back of the jet, enough to destabilize 3 country markets. He demands you push the throttles to the limit, fly to a country with no extradition, and kill all radio contact. He offers a multi-million-dollar wire transfer to your anonymous account right now if you help him vanish with the keys. You can fly him out and become a multi-millionaire who never works again. Or you can lock the cockpit door, cut the engines, and hand him to federal agents, becoming a national hero. His army of lawyers will drag you through courts for a decade, freeze your accounts, and burn your elite life to the ground. Your fourth crossroad. Write in the comments, take the millions, or turn him in. 2026 year, 10 a.m. Skyscraper, boardroom, OVAL, office. Jimmy sits lazily in a deep leather passenger seat in the back of the dark cabin, an empty crystal glass. The snail is comfortably perched on its rim, watching you. The hedonic treadmill, the detective snaps his fingers sharply. You traded peace of mind for comfort, and now that comfort demands you erase your moral identity. You claim your hands are clean because you just gripped the yoke, but disabling sensors makes you an accomplice. The system feeds you lavishly, so you will shut your eyes when the moment comes. And you will, because luxury is the heaviest anchor on the planet. But even your boss is not the final boss of this game. Let us look into the eyes of the man who draws the sky. The engine roar fades forever. Thick boardroom carpet, ringing silence. Cold hum of $1 million air conditioner. Fresh ink on massive revenue charts. You do not fly anymore. Your soft hands forgot the vibrating yoke long ago. You are the vice president of flight operations for a transnational aviation empire, the architect. At this absolute peak, there is no sky, only cold numbers on a glowing screen. Your casual signature reroutes entire fleets, fires thousands, and generates billions in dividends. You answer to no one, and you create the algorithms that torture captains on lower levels. Tiny heat signatures on a laptop. Your power provides a cold, intoxicating rush. But limitless power demands a pitch-black price, the dehumanization of statistics. Your psyche has completely mutated. Morning reports show numbers, not faces or families. The classified report, it sits squarely on your pristine mahogany desk from the chief engineering department. Your corporation purchased 300 new aircraft, and deep technical analysis proves a fatal flaw in the autopilot software. Risk analysts calculated the math. This glitch triggers one catastrophic incident every 10 years. Recalling the fleet instantly crashes the stock price. Panicked investors pull billions overnight. To cover losses, the algorithm demands you terminate 40,000 low-level employees, mechanics, attendants, and those same exhausted night shift cargo pilots from Chapter 1. 40,000 families default on their bills next month. Or you sign a confidential document declaring the fleet safe. Paying out one hypothetical disaster settlement in 10 years is 8 times cheaper than grounding the fleet today. Your final crossroad. Architect of the sky. Write in the comments, hide the report, or expose the truth. Story conclusion. Archives base. Jimmy and his snail stare at you through the panoramic glass, standing on the skyscraper ledge over the endless city night. The infamous trolley problem in all its blood-freezing glory, only instead of a rusty lever, you wield a fountain pen. Reaching the absolute top teaches you the most terrifying lesson. There is no right choice up here. No matter which box you check, your hands will be permanently stained. Save passengers, and you snatch bread from the mouths of your loyal employees. Hide the truth, and you play Russian roulette with innocent lives. The system ensures that clean decisions do not exist at the top. The hierarchy does not offer a choice between good and evil. It forces you to pick which brand of evil you can tolerate in the mirror every morning. Let us check the archives. Jimmy's archives. The night flight situation. The sunk cost fallacy. A psychological trap forcing people at the bottom to continue destructive behavior because they invested too much time, energy, and money to walk away. Plus factor. Forces people to break through impossible walls through sheer stubbornness in extreme survival conditions. Minus factor. People spend years in exhausting jobs or abusive situations, terrified of losing their invested time, even though leaving would instantly make them happier. Path to salvation. Strictly evaluate every situation based only on the present moment. Making decisions as if you started this morning with a clean slate. Search phrase for self-education, sunk cost fallacy, behavioral economics. The false calculation situation, authority bias, a hardwired social instinct where the brain blindly trusts the opinion of a higher-ranking person, even if they are fundamentally and obviously wrong. Plus factor ensures strict discipline and smooth operations within massive organizations during critical time pressure. Minus factor completely blocks critical thinking, causing junior employees to stay silent while observing fatal errors by their superiors. Path to salvation. Develop independent risk assessment, evaluating every order based on physics and logic rather than the number of stripes on someone's shoulder. Search phrase for self-education, authority bias, Milgram experiment. The corporate algorithm situation, moral decoupling, a defense mechanism where a person separates their personal morals from their corporate duties, convincing themselves the system makes the cruel decisions, not them. Plus factor allows managers to make harsh but economically necessary decisions without being destroyed by guilt. Minus factor breeds executives who cold-bloodedly destroy lives while hiding behind corporate instruction manuals. Path to salvation. Restore personal accountability, understanding that you are always the last link pressing the button. Search phrase for self-education, moral decoupling, Albert Bandura. The elite jet situation, the hedonic treadmill, a biological trap where the brain rapidly adapts to new levels of wealth and comfort, erasing the joy of achievement and demanding ever more dangerous levels of status. Plus factor, the ultimate driver of economic progress and extreme human ambition. Minus factor generates chronic dissatisfaction, causing people to burn out, wondering why millions on their account no longer spark any emotion. Path to salvation. Practice intentional sufficiency, learning to step off the track and derive dopamine from basic, free joys in life. Search phrase for self-education, hedonic adaptation, psychology, the sky architect situation, dehumanization of statistics. At the absolute peak of power, living individuals become dry numbers on charts, and leaders face dilemmas where every decision guarantees harm to someone. Plus factor, the critical ability to govern global systems using cold macroeconomic calculations. Minus factor, total loss of empathy, where leaders sever their connection with ordinary reality and fail to grasp the value of a single human life. Path to salvation, mandatory regular contact with ground-level reality, forcing executives to see the real-world consequences of every signature. Search phrase for self-education, the trolley problem, ethical thought experiment.
Author's comment. Hello everyone. Dear friends, it is the author of the channel, Detective Jimmy, just slammed shut the last dusty folder on this crazy case. In reality, very few of us will ever grab the yoke of a transnational airliner or map global routes from a glass penthouse. But do you know why this psychological breakdown hits your nerves so hard right now? Because this exact same hierarchy is happening on micro level, every single day, at your everyday job. This very second, your stuffy office or loud factory floor is the exact same cockpit. The sunk cost fallacy keeps rookies chained to the dirty bottom. The same fear of quitting a hated job just because you spent 5 years there and are terrified to start over. Authority bias is that split second when your arrogant boss pushes a doomed project and an entire room of smart professionals nods in silence, terrified of losing their bonus. Moral decoupling is a coward manager denying your deserved promotion, hiding behind a monitor and blaming abstract shareholder directives to avoid personal responsibility. The hedonic treadmill tricks us into taking massive loans for cars we cannot afford, just to prove imaginary status to random strangers on the street. The ultimate mental trap of the system is its calculated message that the only meaning of life is a desperate climb to the next floor. over the backs of competitors, but old Jimmy in his worn-out coat is right. On dirty concrete or in silk at the untouchable peak, people cry the same salty tears from bone-chilling existential loneliness. Perhaps our greatest victory is not reaching the architect's leather chair. Perhaps true victory is finding your own modest floor where you breathe easily. That cruising altitude where you still have the energy to look up at the endless sky with your family, not through the gray prism of sales charts, but simply because the sky is breathtakingly beautiful today. Do not let algorithms carve out your living heart to install an obedient gear. Do not rent someone else's corporate conscience. No company will remember your name the day after you leave, but the real people you helped when they were falling will remember you for the rest of their lives. Monetize only your humanity. I hope you became a fraction of a second freer today. If this Noah breakdown resonated with you, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss Jimmy's next investigation. Drop by the community tab on our channel. We have intense voting on every moral dilemma from this episode. The link to our Discord server is always waiting on the main channel page. YouTube hates links in descriptions. There we chat, live, plan new videos, and share stories about surviving our own real floors of this hierarchy. See you on the next level. This was your life as an Detective Jimmy. The case is officially closed.